Thank you very much for having me, and it's kind of hard to come up here after the step team, but I'm going to do my best. Thank you for having me, and what an incredible event today. The inspiration, the wisdom shared by all the speakers. On the topic of mission accomplished, I have a little bit of a different take on it. I'm here to talk a little bit about failure, which when you think about it isn't necessarily something that goes along with mission accomplished. But if you'll let me indulge a bit, I'm hoping that by the end you'll understand a little bit better about how important what we can learn and how important it is for us to seize on those failures. So I thought a great way for me to start would be to talk about a public speaking failure of mine. Go back to junior year in high school, Fordham Prep in the Bronx. I was in religion class. In every class, one of us was responsible for, so I'm sitting in class, about 15 to 20 buddies in there with me. Teacher calls me up. I stand up and I say, all right, I didn't prepare anything, totally forgot. But I said the Hail Mary probably, I don't know, 5,000 to 10,000 times at that point in my life. I can just get up there and start to say the Hail Mary. Well, I started the Hail Mary, did the sign of the cross. I said, Hail Mary, full of grace, and I froze. I stood there, I looked out at most of my class, my friends, my teacher, and I froze. I couldn't remember the rest of the Hail Mary. It seemed like I was up there for about 20 minutes while I stood there and everyone was staring at me. And I was expecting, they're going to pick up on this and they'll just keep saying it too. No, they didn't, and I just stood there. So I literally just walked down to my seat, I sat down, put my head in my book. Thankfully my teacher was kind enough not to pick on me the rest of that class. And I wrote a great college essay about that failure of mine a couple years later. So quite appropriate, I think, talking today about the word failure and sharing that one of my failures. And there will be many more to talk about today. But failure is a scary word, especially in the confines of a school. Right? I don't know if there's a scarier word we could say. We come to school. Schools are not places where failure is acceptable or failure should even happen. But failure does happen. Failure is a word in schools. I liken it to Lord Voldemort, right? The character in Harry Potter's book, right? In the first couple of books, you weren't even allowed to say his name. It was he who shall not be named. You knew who it was. You weren't allowed to say his name because that's how scary failure is. I was looking this up. I have a friend who teaches in Montgomery County Public Schools, and we were talking about grades one day, and he showed me the grading scale for Montgomery County. And you look and you see you got an A, you got a B, you got a C, a D, and an E. An F is so bad you can't even show an F. You have to be shown a D. This is scary. This is scary stuff, and not that any of us goes into school with the thought of failing anything. But the grading scale in Montgomery County is likened to the character of Lord Voldemort, right? You can't even say failure. It has to be shown as an E. So, no need to show hands, but I'm going to ask the question. How many people in this room have failed at something? I'm going to put both hands. I'll put my feet up if I could. The second question is, flip side to that. Who wakes up every morning hoping that they're going to fail miserably at something in the day? Right? There aren't any hands that usually go up, and there shouldn't be. But I'm here today to talk about that failure. I'm going to talk about it in the context of a class that I teach as well. But I have a few of my own failures to share that I think highlight and certainly share my learning in this process. Fourth grade, we go back even further. And it's funny what I remember. I remember the failures more than I remember the successes. But I failed my language arts exam. Now, that's a whole other issue, that I'm in fourth grade taking a language arts exam at the end of the school year, but that's another topic to discuss. And I got the grade back, and I was so afraid to tell my mom. My mom was a teacher, didn't want to tell her. So I had a play date with Dan Perry later that day. Get in the car, we go to Dan's house, we're having a grand old time. my mom's talking with Dan's mom, and in the part of that conversation, oh, how'd Joe do on the final? And she's like, oh, he told me he didn't get it back. And meanwhile, I'm off playing with Dan, we're riding bikes, we're having a grand old time. I'm thinking, I got this covered, no problem, I'll get to this eventually. And so, you know, Mom picks me up, I get in the car, and she shares with me, oh, I was talking with Mrs. Perry, how did you do on your, I thought you didn't get your language arts exam back today. And, you know, if she looked in the rearview mirror, I would have been like pale white, like, oh my God, I am in so much trouble, right? I failed the exam, and I lied about it. I was so afraid to tell my mom about it that I lied. Now, that got me some hard labor at, you know, Casa de Powers for a few weeks. But what it also did, and thankfully my mom recognized that I did need a little bit of help with grammar, so I got a tutor that summer, and actually had a great time working with somebody that I connected really well with, and had a great time studying grammar. Now that sounds like an oxymoron in a lot of ways, but it was a good summer, and I got better. That failure led me to get better at something. As I said in the introduction, I grew up a baseball player, and I love baseball to this day. Would still be playing it. You know, I wanted to be the third baseman for the Yankees, but some guy named Alex Rodriguez got the job. But I might be more likely than he is now, so that's a whole other story. But I played baseball, and I played baseball all my life. I loved it. I lived it. It was my dream. And when I was in high school and playing, I was in a slump. I just wasn't hitting really well. And baseball is one of those sports, right, where if you get a hit 3 out of every 10 times, you're going to the Hall of Fame. You fail more than you succeed in baseball. So my coach, recognizing that I was in a slump and I wasn't I just couldn't get out of it, instead of telling me to get up early and come into school and hit some more balls in the batting cage or whatnot, gave me the bat that I used. He goes, take it home. See if you can get some good luck tonight. So I took the bat home. I put it in bed with me. I gave it its own pillow. I put it right on the pillow. I wrapped it up in a nice blanket. I went to bed that night. I got up the next morning. I put the bat in my bag, got my uniform, went to school, did class, got to the game that day, and I went 2 for 3. I remember feeling great at the plate. I hit the ball, got on base a couple times. You know, I had been failing miserably at it, and all I did was change a mindset. I didn't go to the cage, I didn't hit some more, I didn't, you know, pick a different bat. You know, it was an odd way to change your mindset, putting a bat in bed with you and sleeping with it and working with a superstition there, but I changed my mindset in a way based on some failure that I had been experiencing. The last example that I want to share is, now I'm an adult and I'm coaching my kids. And I'm starting to recognize that as the coach, I have very little patience for my own children. I love coaching everyone else's, and I love coaching my kids, but I'm finding that I'm just not really patient coaching my own. So I decided to do what I think everyone should do in that situation. It's fire themselves. And I fired myself from coaching my kids anymore because I wasn't my best self. I wasn't being the good person that I know I needed to be, and the most patient person I needed to be with my own kids in that situation. So, through that failure, I fired myself. And now I get to sit back and enjoy and watch and do my best not to talk much during the game. But that's another challenge of mine. My point is, everyone fails. Failure is inevitable. It happens. Good friend of mine, Jim Power, and I were talking a few years ago, and we were talking about favorite interview questions people ask, and you go to different interviews and whatnot. And his favorite question was, well, tell me about a time when you failed at something. And his answer back just made me crack up because it's so true. His answer back was another question. Would you like me to tell you one before breakfast or after lunch dinner? And it's true. We have those daily times in our walk, in our day, where we have those failures. Even Katie has failed at something, I think. And I say that jokingly. She probably lost a race when she was maybe 5 and a 17-year-old was swimming against her. But I still can't prove that. I still can't prove that. However, are successes. Thomas Edison, I've not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that will work. Right? One of my favorite lines. This is a mission accomplished. Right? Hard work pays off. Learning from those failures, mistakes, foibles, falls, whatever it may be. Schools are not necessarily the place you think about that being a real safe place to happen, but we should be. Go back, sorry. So, I teach a class at the Woods called Business School. It's personal finance, investing, it's public speaking, and it's entrepreneurship. It is, I call it my therapy, it's the highlight of my day, every day, it's 3 hours a week, it's 5th graders. So we're 10 and 11-year-olds learning about business principles, learning about money, how it works, investing, public speaking, entrepreneurship. And I'm going to somewhat reveal a secret here. I've baked in opportunities to fail in this class. Now, it's great. There's no grade. There's no grade that goes on a transcript for this course. Everyone's going to pass. And I tell that to the students as we start. But I've purposely baked in opportunities for there to be failure. Safe places, safe ways to fail. So when we do investing, and we learn about investment theory, and we discuss it, and we start to get in our teams and collaborate and work together, and then put together our portfolios. They're actually not buying real stock, but we use fake money. We purchase stock, we put it in our portfolio, and help them understand that not everyone is going to be successful. We find that balance in the portfolio. We try to invest in companies that were going to be successful, but as you'll see, some of these guys bought GoPro a couple weeks ago, and it immediately went down. Right? There's loss involved. Not everyone's return on investment is always going to be a win. But through finding that balance, Disney and Apple and Under Armour's helping them out quite a bit right now. Through that balance, but understanding where that loss is going to be and how we can live with it, how we bounce back from it. Not everything's going to be lined up in that realized or unrealized gain column in a positive way. The second part of the course is public speaking. And I certainly give some of my examples that I've shared with you to the class. But we spend time, we listen, we watch TED Talks, we watch Steve Jobs' graduation speech at Stanford, we watch Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech, and we listen to Patrick Henry's firebrand speech about give me liberty or give me death. Obviously Patrick Henry didn't record it, but it's a reenactment, so to speak. But they listen to it. We understand verbal, nonverbal communication skills. We talk about them. And then the kids have to get up in front of class and deliver part of Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. There's tough language. There is complexity to the speech. It's not easy, and I purposely pick it because it is hard. And as they deliver the speech, everyone's in front of the room, the class is there. Each person in class then is responsible for giving a constructive critique to the person speaking. We talk about it in the context of this isn't the Simon, Paula, and kind of TV show critique that we see where somebody's just telling somebody they're awful and they send them off the stage. We talk about constructive critique. What did you like about what that person did? Or where could they get better? What did their pronunciation, did their articulation, was their speed too fast, too slow? Give feedback back and forth, and they have to learn to do that as part of this class. So it's built in. Nobody's going to deliver the perfect speech the first time they've ever delivered Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. It's not impossible, but it's highly unlikely. But building in that opportunity so that the audience is now giving feedback and doing it in a constructive way. Not in the way we see it on TV sometimes where it's just coming at people and kicking them off the stage, or for anyone in those shows who might remember the Gong Show, they're gonging them off or whatnot. But that constructive criticism, that constructive critique, the opportunity to do that. And the last part of the course is entrepreneurship, where our students are learning how to create a business plan, put together a presentation, pitch the Shark Tank, of many of which are the parents who would come in to be part of the Shark Tank, and then actually run that business for a week at the school. There's full accounting involved, there's an audit at the end of the week. Does everything you're spending match what you're getting and what you're reporting on your balance sheet? And it's a phenomenal course, but we do this midweek session every time we get to this part of the course. What's not working? And the hands start going up. Everyone, oh, well, we're doing this cleaning business and people aren't paying us. Well, how do you solve that problem? We're failing to get our payment from people. What are you going to do? One person raised their hand. Well, we should have them sign something. Parents must be lawyers, right? We need to get a contract involved here and have somebody sign it, because then that's going to enforce that. Right? We had one issue where kids were, they need to wear gloves when they're dishing out the ice cream, and I came in as the health inspector, and I shut down their business for the last half an hour because they didn't have gloves. And problem solving different issues, and I've actually planted seeds with several students to try and make an argument against the business at times so that we have to resolve that conflict and the failure or the foibles or the falls that come from it. It's a great opportunity to seize on those times and in a space, in a school, where we can learn from those mistakes. There's a lot of success that happens in here as well. But being able to do it in the context of where have we fallen or where have we failed at something is really important. See, this is what we think our plan is. And then we know the reality looks more like the bottom slide. And we talk about this. Did your business, did your schoolwork go exactly like that nice smooth bike ride up to the finish line? Or did you have to travel across the chasm and need a boat to get somewhere? There's rain involved and pitfalls and up and down. But at the end of the day, do you get to the same place? Through those failures, we learn how to be creative, how to be ingenuitive. And there's a growing body of work in this space. Carol Dweck, some of you may have read the book Mindset. But one of my favorite pieces in the book, and she says this early on, is obviously looking at failures as a gift. She was working with a group of children solving puzzles. And she was fascinated that not only were they not discouraged by the failure, they didn't even think of it as failure. They thought they were learning. Failure is learning. Angela Duckworth, who's at the University of Pennsylvania, worked on grit. Fighting through challenges and failure to be successful, that grit. Jessica Leahy, who's another author, one of my favorite authors right now, who's coming out with a book this coming August called The Gift of Failure. She's a former teacher. She writes for the New York Times, she writes for the Mother Lode blog, and talks extensively about failure, her own failures, and how she has helped to herself and now hopefully others to see failure as a gift. I try to bring that through in the context of my class that I teach each day. It's so much fun, but we can't be afraid to fail. Barbara Corcoran. So for anyone who watches the Shark Tank, this is like my version of an autograph. I got Barbara Corcoran to respond to me in a tweet. But I was teaching the course and I asked her a question. I said, can you share any advice for middle school entrepreneurs at the Woods Academy? What would you give this? She responded back, don't be afraid to fail. How quickly you bounce back says everything. And it's so true. That entrepreneurial mindset, that mindset that says, we're trying to solve a problem, we're trying to create an opportunity, but fear of failure gets in the way. That fear of not being successful holds us back. But we can't be afraid to fail. We have to seize it as an opportunity. Carol Dweck calls it learning. Edison certainly doesn't look at it as a failure. He just learned 10,000 ways that didn't work. And certainly Barbara Corcoran doesn't believe that we should be afraid of failure. And to me, that is a mission accomplished. Thank you.